Hey, welcome to Chili's! What's up guys, Crazy Cam Kalani here. Today I'm going to be showing you a little trick with the Max. So basically, really good truck overall. It's been awesome. I actually got two of them. I got this one. The camera itself is actually on top of it's actually mounted to a Max. So kind of cool there. Yeah, really good truck overall. The only thing is the steering assembly. It threads through plastic. So basically what we're going to do today is we're going to need a couple different things. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to get a longer screw and a lock nut and a washer on it. So basically that's going to tighten up the steering quite a bit. So you could pretty much do this for free if you already have the screws. I actually looked on the internet to see what they got. I found some ones from Techno. So basically you need these guys. The M3 by 20 screw. You could probably just use a regular old button head screw as well, but it has to be 20 millimeters specifically. You're also going to need a 3mm lock nut, so that's the part number there. So that's the other one, and then Techno actually has the same size washers that I've been using, so it is a 3x8 washer, so that's it there, that's the part number and everything. So those are the part numbers if you need some new ones, but it should be something you have around the house basically. So yeah, that's what I got here. So the tools you're going to need to do this are as follows. So you're going to need a 2mm wrench, 2.5mm wrench as well, and a 5.5mm nut driver. And basically we're also going to need a drill bit. So basically we're going to be drilling into a small part of the bulkhead just so we make some room for the whole assembly to move. Basically just need something that's right about the same size as the nut itself. So, you know, you could use your nut driver to kind of see what size you need. But I basically just need to bore out a little hole where the there's kind of a little spot where you just need to drill into, just so it, because when you're putting the longer screw and the nut through it, it actually would normally kind of hit that spot. So we're just going to make some room there. So basically get the truck here. It helps to take the body off. You actually don't even need to take the tires off. It's so easy to do, which is pretty cool. I'm just going to use a drill to make it a little bit quicker. So there are 4 different screws here. These are all 2.5mm. So it does help to mention as well, both the front and back screws look pretty much the same, just the one in the front is quite a bit longer than the one that goes in the back. So a good thing to know when you're putting it back together later. Reach over there. So basically it comes up and out. There's a little tab right there, so just need to pull up and over. And there is a 2mm one that you need right here to take the steering link off. And then what we're also going to do is just by turning the steering, we're going to get to 2 more 2mm holes right there and one right there. And then you could also do on that steering link as well, there's also a 2.5mm hole. It's good to take those out as well. Just makes it a little bit easier when you're working on it. So you don't need to take these guys off, but it just makes it a little bit easier when you're working on it. So, oops, I did the wrong side. Let me get that one back out. That way. Yeah, you pretty much don't even need to take both of them. Just take one of them out. So what we're getting to is this thing here. So this is the steering assembly. It's actually a very similar design to the X-Max. Basically, the problem is it threads straight through plastic, so you may or may not be able to see inside of here. Just a tiny little spot where it threads through plastic. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a longer screw and a lock nut to hold everything together. Anyways, back onto this thing here. So tiny little bearing there, and then it's a 2.5mm hole right there. So we're just taking that all the way out, and that's good to go. We're not going to use that because we are using the nut this time. And then the washer I'm putting on the side with the nut. I'm only using one of them. Alrighty, cool. So yeah, I got the screw driven through there, and I'm gonna take the washer, just put that on the side with the nut there, right in the bottom, like so, and get your 5mm nut driver to put that nut in the bottom here. And then we're just going to tighten everything together like that. It doesn't really need to be super tight because it is, I've actually done it before with my X-Maxes because it is very similar. I've actually stripped out the top section here, the button, or the type of screw that, whatever it is, with whatever they call it, like socket heads or whatever, it actually can pull right through if you tighten it too much, so just be careful of that. But once that's good to go, you can throw that bearing back in there, and we're gonna throw this thing here. Basically what we're gonna do is just drill a little hole in this one here. That's where the servo saver goes. So just making room for the longer screw and the nut to do its job. Basically just swivel around and steer. Awesome, there we go. So it actually does help to just set it down on there, make sure it does swivel the way it's supposed to, nice and smoothly. There you have it. Basically just want to make sure that it's sitting nice and flat there, and then we can go put everything back together. Cool, and there you have it. So I just tightened everything back up on off camera basically. But yeah, that's it. That's pretty much just take it out, bore a little hole, get a longer screw and a lock nut and a washer, and then you're done. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It is actually very, very similar with the X-Maxx. So you're doing pretty much the same thing. You're taking out that steering assembly. It is actually very similar, almost the same part numbers. The only difference would be you would need a 25mm screw to go through the whole steering assembly, which I'll make a separate video about that some other time. But yeah, it is very similar to this, just need a 25mm screw, and then the same thing, an M3 lock nut to squish everything back down. And the same thing, those washers still work as well. The way that steering assembly is almost exactly the same as this, just smaller, or just this one smaller, that is. So yeah, there you go. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully it's super useful.